is up, metalheads and non-metalheads alike? This is the Everblack Underground, where we talk about music. This is bands I've discovered, where I tell you about 4 bands I've discovered, 3 of which that I did like, and 1 of which that I didn't care for so much, just so you can know about them. I do that because, just because I don't like them, doesn't mean you won't like them. So that's it. Let's get right into it. First band I'm going to talk about is a band called Parabola. They are from Arizona. It's a solo project by a member named Onin. It is an atmospheric black metal band, with themes of spirituality, religion, death, and life. They have connections to several projects, one of which is a YouTube channel actually called Hipster Black Metal. Check them out; they're pretty cool. Infected Laceration, Asbestos, Black Flag, Frostbite, Moon Knight, Mortuary, Valkandra, Vile Baphomet, and Mutilated Tyrant. They have 1 album and 2 EPs that we're going to talk about today. The album is called Omnipotent, and the 2 EPs are called Grand Illusion and Noshitsu. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm probably not, and I apologize for anything else I mispronounce later in this video. We're going to get right into it though with Omnipotent. This is a warm sound, well layered, interesting story throughout that I'm not going to delve deep into, but if you'd like to, I would definitely suggest you do. So really, there's actually a track in here that has kind of an old western music feel, a little interesting, kind of like the old western films, as well as some beautiful piano throughout and a unique instrument usage in a few of the tracks. My favorite song on this album is Omega, and I would suggest checking out. Here's a little taste of that. Alright, and the next EP is Grand Illusion. This sounds very desperate, very painful, some natural sounds throughout, as well as some strong drumming and some story in another language, so I don't really know what it's about. If you want to tell me what it's about, that'd be awesome. Let me know in the comments. Some clean guitar usage, along with some distorted guitar layered on top of each other, sounds really beautiful, and a little more atmospheric than Omnipotent, I would say. So give this album a check out if you like that kind of style. Here's a little bit taste of part 5 on the track. Alright, and then their other EP, Noshitsu, which means December, by the way. Every track on here actually is the meaning of an animal. So, for instance, my favorite track on here is Gaji, which is the crow. But some great use of natural sounds and animals and their surroundings on this EP. It's really quite unique. Some strong use of drone style music as well as a really great journey throughout the tracks. It's very consistent. Some of the tracks feel even spiritual in a way, the best use of harsh vocals on this EP as well. Like I said, my favorite track is Gaji, or The Crow rather. Check it out, here's a little taste. Now we're going going to go into the next band, a band called Gorebringer. They're from England. They formed in 2017 and are still ongoing. They are a melodic death metal band, and they have themes of gore. Their first album, or their only album rather, is A Craving for Flesh. And then we're going to just talk about that right now. So, Craving for Flesh, very mellow death, very dark. Some tracks feel a bit too long, but I'm sure they'll figure that out when they make more music. Does use some great elements of thrash in here, and some brutality as well when needed. Some strong solos in here as well, and great use of tremolo guitar when needed. And there is some synth in here that makes it feel a little horror movie-esque, which is kind of cool. My favorite song on here is Blood-Soaked Chapel. Here's a little taste of it, and if you liked it, give the rest of the album a try. And then we're going to talk about the next band, a band called Splattered. They are from California. They formed in 2012, and they are currently ongoing. They are a brutal death metal band with themes of gore and violence. And they have 2 albums that I'm going to talk about today called Guttural Species and Carnivortex. They are also connected with quite a few projects. So those projects are Cerebral Incubation, War Scythe, Logistic Slaughter, Repulsive Infestation, Defeated Sanity, which I personally love them, From Hell, Vile, Hatriot, Kinefrit, Blasturbation, Cerebral Engorgement, and Guttural Cephaloslamectomy, Wold Warden, Longer Abgud, Fracturement, Inquisious Deeds, Laceration, Illuminegra, and Into the Sea. So, maybe if you like this band, you can check those guys out. The first album I'm going to talk about is Guttural Species. This is very intense and atmospheric, great slammy riffs with some breaks to breathe, solid guitar tone that hits just right, as well as some great drums. I love the ride on this, and some really good variation on vocals with gutturals and pig squeals throughout. And obviously I love the bass guitar. As a bassist, I love it when I can really clearly hear the bass guitar, and you can really clearly hear it. It cuts through perfectly. My favorite song on this album is Guttural Species, so here's a little taste of that. Check it out. If you like it, check out more. The next album we got to talk about is Carnivortex. Some great headbanging tracks on here. Amazing solos, which is a bit of a departure from Guttural Species, where there wasn't any solos. Very brutal, leaving nothing to be desired. You can hear some influence from bands like Death Clock and Suffocation on these tracks. And again, great bass cuts through perfectly. My favorite song on here is Scorched Birth Policy. Check it out if you like it. Check out the rest of the album. And then we're going to get into the last band, the band I didn't care to listen to as much, but maybe you will. This band is called Frohvahr. It's a one-man band, ambient drone style, from Hungary. They formed in 2018, or rather, they started music in 2018. Currently, a question whether they're still together or still making music. They have, I'm going to talk about 5 albums, EPs, and LPs. Dim Mist Above the Enchanted Mountains, Iron Dignitary, Various, Dungeon Ghosts, and Crypt of the Lich. So we're going to get right into Dim Mist Above the Enchanted Mountains. This is very disorienting. Feels like the music is kind of rushing through. Feels like it doesn't really know what it wants to do. It does have some solid layering on the tracks, so that's a plus. And my favorite song on here is probably The Wanderer. So check that out. If you like it, check out more. And the next thing we're going to talk about is Iron Dignitary. This is where it gets a little more atmospheric, drone style. This is where that ambient drone comes from. Not a ton going on, very few notes, which very clearly emphasizes the drone style. Some guitar shown throughout, which just leaves you wanting more. And I think there was only 2 tracks on here. My favorite track on here is Spirit of the Monument. Here's a little taste of that. If you like it, check out more. Next one we're going to talk about is Various. Very ambient, fun guitar and lute in these tracks. Somewhat somber sound, and it does look like there's a track that was recorded live, which if that is true, it was done very well. It's very solid. It gets into some intense territory and anxiety-driven emotion. If I were to give you a track on here to check out, I would check out the track Inner Horror, and if you like it, check out more. Next, we're going to talk about Dungeon Ghosts. This has a sparkly effect throughout the tracks of kind of like a technology feeling. I don't really know how to explain it. It's very interesting. It's throughout in the background, throughout all the EP. It also has some very spacey sounds, and it's very ominous. And it does venture into some dreadful and very dark sounding. It's very interesting what tone can do, because all that's going on here is the change in tone. I would check out track 2. It's my personal favorite. If you like it, check out more. And then finally, Crypt of the Lich. This makes you feel very hopeless. It sounds like you're within a prison. Something about the synth feels familiar, but I'm not really sure why. Maybe you could tell me if you want to listen to it. First time the vocals appear in any of these, honestly. It's very column-like. It's very interesting. I think it really works with the music that's here, and it ends it with a very dark feeling. It makes you feel like you've reached the end of maybe your life, honestly, with some very ominous vocals. My favorite song in here is The Lich. Give it a check out. Here's a little sample. Alright, so that was it for bands I've discovered. If you liked any of these bands, let me know. If there are any bands you think I should check out, let me know as well. I like doing these. I'm trying to do more of these, but it's hard. Hopefully soon I can get some time to do them. So just, yeah, let me know. Please hit that like and share this video. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell to get more notifications of when I release these videos, and just comment, tell me what you thought. Stay heavy.